That could be in the Crockpot radio ad. Everyone loves tender, succulent meat.
It could be in a lot of ads, Adam. Let's be honest.
Welcome to Three Guys, Three Questions, where three friends test the limits of propriety through the questions we ask. Today is the day we help people. This week, we're sponsored by Life Hacking, a sponsor list. No, Aaron, this isn't too meta. Oh, I read the whole thing.
You weren't supposed to read that part.
I'm Aaron L.M. Goodwin, and I'm joined, as always, by Andrew Savage. Say hello, Andrew.
Hey, everyone. I have to put some HTML comment notes on that so that Aaron doesn't read that again.
Thank you. Close bracket.
Yeah.
I'm also joined by Adam Merlin Anderson.
I was going to do a Merlin Mann impression, but I don't know what he sounds like, so I didn't.
Boo. He's listening, and he's upset.
Oh.
Hey, Merlin. Send me a voicemail, I guess. I don't know.
Send me a voicemail.
I don't... What?
That's a voicemail.
Because it's obviously 2001 as well.
Wait, do you think voicemail is receiving a cassette tape in the mail?
Are there other options for it?
I think that's what we should do now.
If it was, I would check my voicemail way more often. If you're new to the show, here's how it works. Each host asks a question, then each host gives their answer. Hilarity hopefully ensues, and we move to the next question. Andrew has today's first question, so take it away, Andrew.
Oh, thanks. I will take it away. Take it away. Take it away now.
What you've got? You've got a, well, I don't want to talk about the rest.
Okay. Hey, so guys, what is a life hack that you learned too late in life?
Mine is something that everybody tells you. At least my parents told me forever. They'd ask me if I did something, and I'd say, "Oh no, I forgot." And they're like, "Just make a list. Make a list when you learn something you need to do, and then you have the list, and you will never forget." And I was like, "Yeah, but." And that was the summation of my argument. and I had that.
No, I've used that argument many times.
Yeah, but
no.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about
here's the thing.
Okay, you know what? You finish, and I'll explain.
No, tell me.
No, yeah, you know what? We're going to
tell us the thing.
Tell me the thing.
Sometimes
things are what I come here for.
Sometimes when someone asks me to do something, I immediately realize I'm going to forget that on purpose.
Okay.
And then I'm like, oh, dude, I forgot, which is true, but I didn't do a very good job of remembering. Am I a bad person?
Yes, because you should just tell the person you're not going to do it or you don't want to do it when they ask.
Yeah,
see,
probably.
But that invites itself like a whole new discussion that you probably don't want to be having with this person if you don't want to be doing what they're asking you to do in the first place.
But if that's a person who does that quite often, then you just stop being around that person or something. You know what I mean?
I don't do it often. I mean, I just like having that in my arsenal just in case.
I hate that. That's like passive aggressive stuff. I hate that stuff.
I'm just
if
here
I
to make
ask you
your
to do
life.
something, you're like, no, that's a stupid idea, and I don't like you. I'd be like, well, okay, I see the merit in that.
You're a little bit more accepting than most people.
I'd rather hear that than tell me, yeah, okay, yeah, and blow me off. Back to making a list.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learned it. I mean, I didn't even learn to be doing this until I was like in college. And I'd been in college for a while, and I was really poor. And so I remember like trying to figure out ways to maximize, like use my money wisely. And it led me to a lot of life hacking websites. And that's when I learned about Merlin Mann. And I started doing I'd keep everything on index cards and such. I think it was called the Hipster PDA. So it was like a personal digital assistant, but on index cards. And I would just keep lists of things, and I was like, oh, it turns out like I actually get things done when I have a list, and so I try to do that, and it helps.
I'm a fan of keeping notes. Or lists. One of my favorite list keeping apps for my phone is Google Keep, because it has like a GPS tracker on it. So if I'm like, shoot, next time I go to the store, I need to get milk, but I always forget every time I go to the store. Mm-hmm. So I have a list for the store. And then what happens is I walk in the store and my phone buzzes like, hey, here's your list of things that you said you needed when you were here.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
I love stuff like that. I do that with like OmniFocus. It's the same kind of idea.
Yeah.
And with the reminders app on the iPhone. Because to me, anything that I can automate to remember is much better because my brain is already full of all kinds of really bad puns, remembering every episode of The Office.
To be fair, though, you do an extensive amount of studying about every episode of The Office.
Right. I got to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Aaron, some heavy talk. What's going on, man?
Well, no, Adam, I thought...
Oh, Adam.
Well, yeah, real talk. I write things down just because it makes me feel better about things. Like, I'll not even look at the list again, but it feels good to have it written down. And then I feel better about things. I'm like, hey, that has relieved some of my anxiety.
That is like a next level to making a list because I was fully on board with the idea of making lists. And I was like, yeah, this is true. And then people would tell me, you know what? Just write things down. And even if you're not going to look at it later, the act of writing it down is good. And I was just like, nope, that's make believe.
I don't believe you.
And so I actually only got to that point like maybe in the past 4 or 5 months, and I started carrying around a little field notes book in my shirt pocket.
Oh, okay.
And a pen. Yeah, and I just write stuff down, like random thoughts and things, and I found that like my subconscious feels like alleviate. It's like a weight and anxiety is lifted off of my life that I was like, oh, this has been there the whole time, and I could have just been writing things down and getting it out, and I haven't. So, yeah, I agree with you, Adam.
Yep. I mean, that wasn't funny at all, but I think it's real good advice.
I think maybe everyone listening to this show should actually just start writing things down as they listen.
Yeah, take notes. Tweet us about them. Tweet us your 3G3Q notes.
Yeah, like take a picture of your notes that you've made listening to this episode.
Is it weird that I just don't really like have that anxiety of having to write things down?
You do, but you don't know about it. That's the thing. That's what I felt.
Have you tried writing stuff down?
Yeah.
Oh, I write things down, but I guess I'll have to. And you know what? I'm going to do it.
Try it this week, and
I'm not going to be like all negative about it. I'm going to try it out. Like I got to know before I.
Yeah.
So,
just next time you're feeling anxious about something, write it down and then throw it away.
You don't have to throw it away.
Yeah. It depends on what you're writing, I guess.
I'm opening up the show notes for next week's lightning round, and we're gonna follow up. Oh wait, I don't know which week this is gonna be. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
This is recorded live and in person.
So
we'll remember after I listen to this. I know hold you accountable.
I know that writing stuff down is, very therapeutic. But what about drawing the things that I need to remember? Should I do that?
Yeah,
I've never tried that, but I want you to and tell us how it works.
Okay.
You just write down milk.
I
milk.
I draw a thing of milk or like a loaf of bread, and it's like a little game. I get to the store, I'm like, what did I draw here?
How do you draw? Oh, I need to pay my rent.
Just my house and me sad.
You draw money with an arrow going away from you.
Yeah.
Just like falling into a trash can.
Hey, Adam, what did you learn what's a life hack you learned too late?
Way too late in life. I learned about crock pots.
Oh, yeah.
They're amazing. I love them. Everybody in the world should have a crock pot.
Yeah.
I should start a nonprofit organization to get everyone a crock pot.
Give children in Africa with no food. Here's a crock pot.
No food, no electricity, but they have a crock pot.
One step at a time.
I remember I was interested. I was dating somebody. I don't know if we were really dating, but let's just say for the convenience of the story. And I was like waiting for them to, like, I went to pick them up for something, and they didn't want to leave because they had to watch their soup.
Oh,
and I was like, well, and I didn't know how they were cooking it. I was like, why can't you just leave it? And they're like, because it's just on the stove here. That's dangerous. And I was like, you're cooking like a long-term soup you're going to be working on for a long time on the stove. They're like, how else would you do it? And I was like, what? You don't know about crock pot? Man. And they were like, no, I don't think that would. And I was like, whatever.
I don't believe in crock pots.
Yeah, they were like very, very just disdainful of the idea of crock pots. And I was like, it solves the exact problem we're experiencing right now.
Yeah. I have not met a sane person who is anti-crock pot.
Yeah.
Well, let's not like get harsh and start making broad statements like that.
What do you mean? That's like exactly what we do.
You know, that's how hashtag breakfast ketchup started, and I want to try to do that again.
No, we're never doing that again.
So I feel like people who are against the gospel of crockpots usually are afraid of being an old person and try to probably like, oh no, that's something my grandmother uses. I don't need that. I live in the future.
Well, that's dumb, right? Because
I'm not saying it's right. I'm being the devil's advocate over here, trying to be like not just a one-sided argument. I don't think they're right either. I mean, crockpots are delicious. Have you put pulled pork in a crockpot? Delicious.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. But I mean, it's not like you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to be hungry 8 hours from now. Like, no, you're going
to. Yeah.
And that's not exclusive to old people. Everybody gets hungry.
Right.
And everybody loves tender, succulent meat.
So sorry.
Are you all right?
I'm distracted there.
Could you put a clip of Adam saying that everyone likes tender, succulent meat and just loop it
It's my
for
new
me?
ringtone. Tender, succulent meat.
I could be in the crockpot radio ad. Everyone loves tender, succulent meat.
It could be in a lot of ads, Adam. Let's be honest.
The next level crock pot I have, and it's called a smart pot. Have I told you guys about my smart pot?
No, I want to hear.
Are you going to be able to activate it with your phone?
Dude. Oh, well, they have a Bluetooth version, but I don't own the Bluetooth version.
Is it like a robot crock pot that goes into your fridge and like fills itself with things? Because I'm pretty sure that's the only way a crock pot could be any easier.
No, I will tell you how it can be better in real life. A smart pot is a combination crock pot pressure cooker.
Oh, man, that's a good idea.
It's got a lid that screws on, like it twists on and locks. So, have you ever used a pressure cooker? They're scary as all crap.
Oh, yeah, they're about to blow up on your face. It's like having it's like working in your kitchen, but also having a bomb there.
Yeah.
It's like, I'd like to cook these vegetables inside of a bomb.
Yeah.
But it still is like, it's like the same contraption the Mousetrap board game was used. So it's like you just touch it, it might explode. You're like, oh, shoot, why do I have this in my house?
There's no way to know how it's going inside. Like, and you have to do it by feel. There's not like a timer or anything. Oh. But a smart pot is like a crock pot too, where you screw on the lid and it has a bunch of things on the front. Sometimes it, like, say you want to make rice, all you push is rice and it does everything for you. It decides what pressure to cook it at, how long, all this kind of stuff. Or you put like, I want to do a stew, and it does all the settings for that. I think it needs to have a setting for like yogurt or like, but basically you can do anything you can do in a crock pot. Like you could even set it to not use pressure, to just be like a slow cooker. You can even saute in it. You can tell it, turn up the heat as hot as possible. I'll leave the lid off. I'll saute some of my vegetables, and then I'll turn it on to something else. Or you can just do pressure cooking. So what's really cool, like usually I used to make like pinto beans for like beans and cornbread or something like that, or to make refried beans. And I used to I'd soak them overnight, and then in the morning I'd put them in and cook them all throughout the day, and they'd be ready that evening. With this, you can have fresh beans in like 45 minutes.
Dude.
And they're just as good.
I found one. I'm going to post it here.
Oh, dang. It's like $120, Aaron.
Yeah. It's amazing, though. Is $120 a lot or a little to you? I don't know.
It's a lot to me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, barring the fact that I just paid like $80 for a mouse, $120 is a lot.
It's worth it. I mean, you get hard-boiled eggs in like, I think 5 minutes, start to finish.
It's like the Roomba of crockpots.
Can I ask you a question on your thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about bread makers?
Well, that's tough for me because I don't eat bread. But
you know what? Let me ask Adam, though, someone who's a human being.
I know. Okay, well, I want to hear Adam's. I have an opinion, but I just don't think it matters as much. But go ahead.
I've never really used a bread maker, but I know people who have, and I've never been like, oh, this bread came from a bread maker. It's always been delicious.
I just like the idea of coming home and then like, oh, bread's done, and it smells amazing in my house.
Yeah, it's like a crock pot for bread.
Yeah, pretty much is what I thought.
Yeah, I just found that the bread, for me, the bread in the bread maker never made the kind of bread I really liked that much. Like, there wasn't ever enough of it.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't, because it's not big enough. And by the nature of how it works, it's always making very airy, light bread.
And you like a dense bread.
Yeah, I like a good, thick, or like a sourdough or like a wheat bread or something. It's all right.
I was thinking about getting a bread maker because I like the idea of making bread for a nickel a loaf.
Yeah, maybe you should, or you probably shouldn't, because diabetes.
Well,
like if you ate like a whole loaf of bread every day.
Yeah, that's true.
That's bad news.
But I would die doing what I love, eating carbohydrates.
Well, so what's your hack?
Mine? Oh, yes, right. Okay. I forgot where
That's
we're
how
at.
the show works. I don't know
Okay.
if you remember.
I'm new. This is my first
We got
day.
3 questions,
Hello, Andrew.
3 answers for each question, for a total of 9 answers.
Keep telling me about it, Adam. I'm really curious.
That's as much math as I know.
Okay. So life hack that I learned too late in life was it's like a constant struggle between man and the garbage can.
Mhm.
And the one struggle that I hate the most, and probably the reason I hate taking out the trash the most, is the liquidy discharge
Ugh.
from carrying the trash can.
What are you putting in your trash can?
Like fruit and stuff.
Why?
You've
I
never
hate fruit.
taken a trash can out and then felt something wet on your foot, and then looked back and see this drip line that's like a trail, like a Hansel and Gretel trail.
I don't know.
that's
Maybe
followed
this
you.
is bad of me, but I always put like food things down the garbage disposal.
Yeah, you should probably, but sometimes you can't. and you
Sometimes
don't, or
it
sometimes
happens.
you live with roommates who don't. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Or a roommate who like just throws out half a gallon of milk because it's
Or I mean,
bad.
I guess it's possible to not have one. I guess I'm just really speaking from a position of privilege, aren't I?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry for our garbage disposal listeners. That was so insensitive.
Yeah, you should feel really bad about yourself.
I do.
Nah, you're good. So the thing is like when that juice, garbage juice is what I'm going to call it, touches your body or your clothing.
It always smells sweet too. Why does it smell sweet?
Oh yeah, it's sweet, but it's like still like
It's
gross.
not a good sweet.
Yeah, it's not a good sweet. It's like you never feel clean. Like you could wash that piece of clothing and you can wash your hands 1,000 times and you're like, it's still there. Anyway, so just recently I learned that if you put old newspapers at the bottom of your trash bag, that it will soak up the juicy bits.
Oh, that is wise.
That's pretty good.
Right? And so I'm like, oh shoot. I learned that like a few months ago.
Your whole life.
And I'm like,
oh.
My whole life is just because that's how simple my life is that's my main concern.
I just pictured you when you have your own children.
Mhm.
And then your kid comes up and you're like, Dad, why are you always throwing newspapers in the bottom of the trash can?
Because newspapers will still be around by then too.
You kneel down on one knee and you put your hand on their shoulders and you look into their eye and you're like, you are so blessed to know this. I spent more than 20 years of my life in ignorance of this. You will never know the horrors of garbage juice. And then they'll look at you like, my dad's crazy.
They'll be like, but Dad, you're throwing away our newspaper collection. It's going to be worth a lot of money someday.
Our antique newspaper collection, because they haven't made it in 30 years.
They just like the feel of it better.
It's in their hands.
We like how it makes our hands all black and inky.
Yeah.
And we like the opinions that are obviously dictated by some governing person without any news merit.
I love the insipid opinions of the letter to the editor section.
I just like to think of like me carrying it around, like those black and white images of infomercials when people are struggling with life. That was me. I lived that.
Oh.
My life was black and white for the first
There
20 years
must be
or
a
so.
better way.
Exactly.
Yes. That's a good life hack. I I learned it too late too, because I'm only learning it right now. But I'm very grateful for that.
There you go. That's why we're here, to help.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay. I don't have anything to write with. I can write on my hand, but I don't think it's the same effect.
You just write garbage juice on your hand.
Yes.
That sounds like a pretty wicked tattoo you could get. Garbage juice. Man, that guy's pretty hardcore. Have you seen him? He's got garbage juice tattooed on his forearm.
Yeah, Garbage Juice that's my favorite punk band.
My question is, what small change has made a big difference in your day to day?
This actually happened very recently. I moved my alarm clock, but not in the direction that a lot of people are probably thinking. Because a lot of times the life hack is, move your alarm clock away from your bed,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll have to get up to turn it off, and then you'll be up already. I tried that, but I would get up and I would turn my alarm clock off. My room isn't that big because I live in an apartment, so I'd push snooze and I would turn around and I'd be like, oh, my bed's only 2 steps away.
Yeah.
So I moved my alarm clock back to being next to my bed. So that way when it goes off, I can just roll over and push snooze. And then my 10-minute snoozes are much more effective.
Right.
And I wake up more rested.
Life hack.
Life hack.
Here, I'm gonna give you a life hack right here.
Yeah.
Put your alarm in your roommate's room. but
They
hide
will
it.
wake you up for you.
They will wake you up, and you'll be awake because you'll be soaked with water that they just splashed on you because they can't find the alarm you hid in their room. Life hacked.
So I don't think this is the end of your life hack.
No, I'm
Right,
not
Adam?
dying. This is not the
Okay.
end of my life.
Okay. No, but you have more to this, right? So because you said you moved your alarm, didn't work, you moved it back. That's not the end, right?
Well, I moved it back and it got better.
This is it? This is really what you...
That's like the.
I don't know
like
what
the-
else you're expecting from me.
This is a small change you made, and it made a big difference in your day-to-day?
Yeah, my 10-minute snoozes, my 3 or 4 10-minute snoozes are way better now.
I'm so disappointed.
That's like the bare
don't know
minimum
what
of a
else you
life
want.
hack.
You asked for a small change that made a
But it
big
didn't
difference.
make a big difference.
I'm
You
so
slept
much
for-
happier though.
You just had a better.
How are
10
you
minutes of
happy
sleep.
now? You're in the same place you were as when you started.
Exactly, my
You're
bed.
at
I'm getting
baseline.
out
That's
of
not-
my bed fewer times every day.
It's like a crack addict's like, oh man, I just found out this life hack. If I just do crack, I feel awesome.
If I just do
It's like,
more
no,
cocaine.
it's like this. It's like if I went up to you and I shot you in your hand and I let your hand heal and I told you, don't shoot your hand. And you're like, I'm so happy. Because you had a baseline of your alarm being next to your bed and then you moved it and you were unhappy, so you moved it back. You didn't gain happiness. You just went back to the baseline. It's not, I mean, what? I feel like this is what's really sad.
But my alarm
because-
was on the other side of the room for 2 years.
About 5 minutes ago, when you first kind of ended, I thought it was a joke. And that's why I asked, but if there's more. And I thought after you did that, I still thought he's just joking around. It was only until maybe a minute ago I realized he's serious. I'm so upset.
That's. I
It's
think
a
the listeners
small
at home
change
need
that made
help.
a big difference. I answered your question perfectly.
No, that's not a life hack. I'm sorry. I think the listeners need the tweet us real life hacks. that
Your
Adam could
life
use.
hack is essentially don't do anything.
Yeah, don't change anything because it'll just make you unhappy.
It's the best life hack of all.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay,
Everybody thinks they got to do stuff, but you don't.
that's the secret, man. I hacked the system. Andrew, I want to hear yours, and it better not disappoint me like this.
Oh well, I'm a lot of pressure now, but I think I can overcome.
not
Adam's.
much pressure.
So a life hack that is it's a pretty small change, but something that's really helped me day to day, which is what the question asks. Is I have started
I wake
to
up every day. I don't know how
Oh
you
my
think that
gosh.
I didn't answer that part of the question.
but a small change has made a big difference. Okay, anyway, we
It
can talk
made a big
about
difference.
that's arguable, as you've heard the last 10
We could
minutes.
quibble over very obvious meaning later. Andrew, what's yours?
So something that really helps me is I got in the habit of I have this bowl next to my bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I put all my things that I need or that I use regularly in it. My keys, my wallet, my chapstick. I put my headphones in there sometimes. And this is really easy because I have roommates and like myself in a older time where I would constantly lose everything. Where like my friend or my roommate will come over and was like, oh shoot, man, we should go to the movies. I'm like, yeah, we should. Let me go find my wallet. 20 minutes later, I am not at the movies because I don't remember where I put my wallet at. And so I realized that this is something that needed to change in my life. And so I got in the habit of putting everything in the same place all the time. The only downside is that if I'm ever robbed, it'll be very easy to find everything that's important to me.
They're just going to make off with this bowl. Like, I love bowls.
Yes.
Well, there's a wallet in here too.
I think they would keep the bowl there. But yeah.
What if somebody dumped out all the stuff and just took the bowl?
I'd be like, dude, they must have really liked that bowl. They can have it. I'll find another bowl.
What kind of bowl is it?
It was just this little wooden one from the 70s I got at the thrift store.
Nice.
You know the type they don't make anymore because they break really easy in the dishwasher? Those ones.
Oh yeah.
What if you get robbed by an antique collector and they're like, this will complete my collection of 70s
I just love that you're so fixated on Andrew getting robbed.
Yeah, I know. If I'm robbed, I'm calling the police.
Yeah, I think we know who did it.
I'll
you
put
better
it right
hope I'm
next to
not
my
robbed.
bed, right next to my alarm clock. It'll make a big difference in my day to day.
Yeah, Andrew, I do that too. I don't have a bowl right now, but I put them in the same spot, if that makes sense. Like and I stack them.
That's
like
good idea.
Everything on top of each other, so that
you don't have OCD. So is what you're saying.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I kind of do, but like I like doing that because if I want to get at something that's on the bottom or in the middle, I have to pick up the stuff on top of it. And so when I'm leaving in the morning, I'll stick my phone underneath it all. Because I'm not forgetting my phone, man. That's like numero uno. So I stick my phone when I come out of the shower and stuff like that. I'll take my phone and stick it under there. And while I'm getting dressed, I get ready, and then if I perchance forget to grab my keys and stuff like that, because I always have a problem of forgetting my keys because I have a separate key ring for work. Or I'll forget something else. Like I'll put other stuff on there too. But like my pocket knife, I'll forget, and whenever I need it, I'm like, dang it, I forgot it. So I've started doing this, and it makes such a big difference. So, but it's like the same thing as the bowl, yeah. But I kind of want to get a bowl now.
I like the bowl because it was nice because I didn't have a place for a while.
Yeah,
and so the place was wherever the bowl was,
and nothing can fall out of a bowl, right? It's in the bowl.
It's specifically if the bowl is like deep or has a lid.
Yeah,
I should get a bowl and a nightstand.
Is your alarm just on the floor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you sleep on the floor?
No, I sleep on a bed.
Is your bed on just?
Yeah, no, it's on a bed frame
floor?
and a box spring and everything.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're moving up in the world.
I can't do what you do because I have my glasses that I absolutely need to see anything.
Oh yeah.
So I have to have somewhere to put them that's within arm's reach in case I get attacked by like a ninja or something.
I usually put them like next to the alarm clock.
So if a thief ever needs to rob Aaron, but also needs to disorient him to steal his glasses,
Take my glasses, man. You win. It's gonna take me forever to find the knife that I hide under my mattress without my glasses.
You could rob the place pretty thoroughly before he even realizes where his glasses are.
What's that smudge moving around taking all my stuff?
Andrew, it's my turn to answer my question.
Mm-hmm.
Back to sleeping.
Sleeping is really important to this podcast.
So is food if you've listened to the other episodes.
I've always had insomnia. Like my whole life, I've had a really, really hard time getting to sleep and staying asleep. And that was all fine and good until I hit a point in my 20s. I'm like 25 where my body was like, hey, this not sleeping thing is going to kill you. And so I realized like, okay, I can't keep like burning the candle at both ends. I gotta sleep. And so I tried going to bed early, and I just would sit there all night. It was awful. And I think it was until I discovered that one of the things that was making me stay awake was that I would start to kind of drift into the dreamland, and then I'd hear like the sound of something, anything, and it would alert me, and I'd wake up. So, if I hear a car drive by or I hear someone talking. That's the hardest thing for me.
Or
'Cause-
your neighbors having a giant fiesta.
Yeah, it was really hard for me. So I started just listening to white noise. The first thing I did was I actually left my TV on and turned it the other way. And this is like a TV that had an antenna, so it was literally the white noise from the TV. And that helped me fall asleep. And I was like, this probably isn't healthy. So I got I think I didn't have a smartphone because this is before then. So I think I did on my computer like a white noise kind of situation, and that helped me out a lot. And I've been using white noise apps ever since. And I have a mix now that I've been using for like, I want to say like 5-6 years.
You should put a
Nice.
link to that mix in the show notes.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I'll screenshot or something. It's on the white noise app. It's like the #1 app. You search for white noise, I think. But it's like people will like show up at night and they'll walk by my room, or they'll want to and they'll hear it. Or I'll like spend the night in a hotel with somebody and I turn on the white noise and they're like, whoa. It sounds like a rainforest. Like it sounds like
That sounds delightful.
it's loud. There's like, there's rainforest sounds, I think. There's rain.
Ooh, rain
There's
sounds good.
wind. There's wind.
Wind
And-
would make me nervous.
Yeah,
it's
me
like
too.
it's like this kind of wind, like
Yeah, that would not do well for me.
Yeah, no, because that just sounds like the wind before a storm.
well, I mean, I live in the desert, so like wind is like natural to me. Like when it's not windy, I'm on alert.
You know, I grew up in the Midwest. So if there's wind, then there's lightning, and if there's
yeah.
lightning, there's probably a tornado somewhere.
And then the next thing I have on there is a babbling brook.
Oh, that sounds good. That
That sounds
good.
delightful too.
And then I think the very last thing is there's a small campfire.
Maybe.
So the crackling of the fire is very soothing.
I like my white noise to be water based.
Yeah, I don't know if that explains the frequent bathroom trips I have to take at night, or if that's just an enlarged prostate or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, no, I
Either
think
way,
that's
you
old
sh-
man troubles.
no, what it is another life hack that I figured out is if I drink a whole crap load of liquid, I have to wake up in the morning. There's no option.
Isn't that the life hack the Indians,
Is it?
discovered?
Hmm.
Yeah, they did that before their battles, so they'd wake up earlier than the other armies. So they drink a lot of water and then wake up at like 4 a.m.
Indian life hack.
I wonder if there's more. I'm sure there are. They use every piece of the buffalo.
Hmm.
They life hack every piece of that buffalo.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah.
I feel like the Native Americans were the first life hackers, because I think everything they had to do was like take advantage of everything.
Probably just humans in general. I mean, you go back,
Nah.
it's life hacks all the way down.
Life hack: use a stick.
Life hack tools.
Life hack: use sharp rock.
Yeah.
I was trying to give one to the Native Americans, but okay, sure, fine, take it away from them, like everything else.
When you think about it, like every tool or system before it becomes common, it's a life hack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
And then
true.
after a while, people are like, "Oh no, this is a screwdriver."
I'm gonna start saying that when people like I'm doing something with people. I'm like, oh, dude, I discovered this life hack. It's called a pencil. And the best part of this life hack is there's an eraser, because I make mistakes sometimes. I'm human. You can use that one at home.
My question is, what's a life hack of yours that you thought everybody already knew?
So my answer is not so much that I thought everyone knew, but everyone should know.
Okay, well, that's not the question I asked, but go ahead.
I know, but I think it's one that I thought everyone knows. But I think anyway,
Life hack: if somebody asks a question you don't want to answer, just answer a different question.
it's how politicians have been doing it for years.
Yeah.
No, so the life hack that I think that I thought everyone should know is that if you wonder how someone feels about something, you should ask them.
Oh.
Wait.
You mean people can just talk about their feelings?
They can talk about anything, not just their feelings.
But
So, like, you can use language to talk about more than just sports.
yes, or how you find another person of the opposite sex attractive. Anyway, so I think that I thought everyone knew that they could just talk to people. Like, people are pretty cool. Like, generally, people are pretty chill. And if you like approach a person as a human being and ask them their opinion or their thoughts, they're pretty open about that for the most part.
This whole thing is like what all British drama revolves around is the inability to just ask
or sitcoms in general
or say something.
Yeah.
A lot of romantic comedies are like that. And it is so frustrating to me because it's like if somebody just said something or if somebody just asked to double check, and it's like it's always based off of assumptions. And that drives me nuts because I really try not to do that. And so seeing other people do that just really makes me question, do I do that? Have I done? And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like this thing that haunts me. I don't like the idea of it for some reason.
Yeah. And I think the thing is that if you live your life in a way that you respect people and their ideas, then your life is a little bit easier. It's actually a lot easier. If you just assume like you're like in the fridge and you're like, oh shoot, my roommate's milk went away, or well, not went away, but expired. Should I throw it out? And you're like, yeah, I should throw it out. Or no, I'll just leave it there. Or you can be like, the next step is, hey, ask them if it's okay if you throw it out because it smells bad.
Right.
or like say your roommate ordered pizza and ate half of it and put the other half in the fridge. And then you get home after your graveyard shift and you look at the fridge and you're like, oh, hey, there's just some pizza here. Like, should you eat that or should you talk about it?
It's funny because I had that same thing happen with a whole plate of bacon.
I have a feeling it was the same roommate.
Nobody's ever not gonna eat bacon. That bacon was for later. That same with pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I forgot about it.
Right. Yeah. Just ask. I think that's true, and I think also that there are gonna be people who are gonna respond negatively to it too. Like, why would you ask that?
You don't need those people in your life, though.
Yeah, screw them. Like, that's like a perfect sign for people you don't need to care about.
Right. Is they expect you just to assume or read their mind.
Right. No, those are crazy people. And a lot of people say like, oh, well, there's a certain group of people who are always like that or something. Like, I've found that most people aren't like that, really. Like, if you ask things in genuine curiosity, I think most people will give you at least what they think is a straight answer. They might be wrong because they might not have a good assertion of what they really feel, but that's a whole other can of worms. That's why I just go up to every person and I ask them if they're attracted to me, because that tells you a lot about how to respond to somebody.
So here for like on a real note, and I don't like talking about relationships a lot on here because I think it alienates people. But there's a group of people that when they are dating someone for the first time, they think, at what point can I just lunge at this person to kiss them? And I'm of the belief that talking would help relieve that awkwardness of the lunge. Am I weird about that?
Like you're just talking as you're going in? You're just jawing on?
No.
By the way.
No.
Like, wow, you're talking really close to my lips. I know, we're kissing.
Well, you're really good at talking with our lips together. No, but I mean, like discussing, like, hey, you know what? I've been on like 2 or 3 dates with you, and I'd like to kiss you. Would that be okay? Is that? I mean,
tip your trilby.
Would it take a little magic away? But here's the thing.
I think it would, but like, take my answer for a grain of salt because I've had like 2 girlfriends in my whole life. So
what I like to do is I like to do the opposite. I like to build up the anticipation. Like I like to lean in real close and then look at him and be like, I'm gonna kiss you some point, and it's gonna knock your socks off. So you better gird up. And then go back to doing whatever I was doing and act like that didn't happen. You guys think I'm joking, but I'm actually serious.
I don't think you're joking, and that's why it's hilarious.
So I will say that I have tried both the lunge.
I've tried both ways
ask,
too,
and I find that the ask is a lot more good, because I think even if the answer is no, you both don't feel terrible. You're like, okay, I respect that.
It's just like I've never heard the story of people like, oh, how did you meet? And you're like, well, we were on a date, and then he asked if he could kiss me.
No, that's not weird. You're being weird. I think that's a healthy sign of a relationship that you can communicate about that. But whatever.
You know what? I want our listeners who have had successful relationships to weigh in on this.
I feel like we're not people to have any opinions about this.
No.
We're obviously screwed up. So
I think that's the only thing I've ever agreed with all of you about.
I've just
We're
only
all
ever
broken.
accidentally committed adultery with people in planetariums. So
what's the adultery for just hand holding?
I don't know.
Is that third degree adultery?
First degree? I think that's
No, I think first degree is the seriousness.
Oh
no. It's the other way around. Like a
don't
third
think
degree
it's how
murder
scale
is. Or wait,
No, but I was thinking about like
the same way?
murder. Like first degree murder is worse than.
Isn't there second
Is it?
degree murder?
I'm pretty sure.
I've never heard
I
of
think-
that.
I think isn't there third degree murder? No, second degree murder is like by association, like manslaughter.
Okay, here's what I want from our
Anyway.
listeners. I want the lawyers to weigh in on that discussion that we just had, and I want the people who've had successful relationships to weigh in on the kissing thing.
Yeah.
It could be the same people. Like you could be a lawyer in a successful relationship, but I don't believe you.
I think this is one of those things that we should stop doing because it probably makes people feel bad when they think about this because
When we don't get any responses, or
When we
No, 'cause-
remind them that we're sad.
yeah, well, and then they're like, "I'm sad too."
well, we
And
can be
this-
sad together.
You know what? If you're sad too, then I also want to hear about it. I want to ask you how you're doing. We can talk about it.
Yeah, and we especially in the stuffy Slack if you're in there because that's a little bit more of a safe space. You're not gonna get.
No, I want them to blast it all over Twitter about their sadness.
All right,
That's what I
so,
do with Twitter already.
Andrew, that was a good
Oh, thank you.
life hack. I just wanted to wrap it in a little bow. So
I appreciate that.
just ask things in general. Mine is I'm gonna try not to get super angry because when I think about it,
I'm really excited.
I get super angry. So, like Andrew, I grew up for the most part in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And in the desert, it gets hot.
Very.
Yes.
And it might even be the springtime when there's like still snow in some places in the United States.
Yes.
And it's hot here. And the thing about the desert that stinks is that at least this desert,
Actually, sometimes it just stinks.
if you're in Boron,
Dude, that place smells bad.
place smells like a bad egg salad sandwich. But
It's two streets. That's how big the town is because it smells so bad.
I think there's more solar panels than people there. But
Let's just start making fun of boron more because there's like 100% chance no
it
one
has
from
it
boron
has the
goes
word
there.
bore in its name. Brr.
Their high school colors are yellow and black.
Oh, I thought
But
you were
they're
just
not-
going to say gray.
They're no, that would have been funny. No, but they don't like their mascot is not bees. It's like bears or something, but there's no like wildlife that lives there.
Right. No, not at all. Except for the desert tortoise. Brr.
That's what I imagine all tortoises sound like.
So the thing that stinks a lot of time is you can run the air conditioning constantly, but it's going to cost you so much money.
Oh yeah.
And especially when you don't have a lot of money, you end up you will run the air conditioning when you're there at home. So generally you'll start the air conditioning when you get home from work or school.
Mm-hmm.
If nobody else lives at the house, that's when you'll start it.
And then turn it off before you go to bed.
Right, you turn it off before you bed. And when you go to bed, what do you do, Andrew?
I do sometimes, depending on the temperature outside, I'll open the window. But if it's hot outside, I will not.
I'm so angry.
Why is that?
Unless you live in some magical house that can keep the temperature inside cool with human body heat going on in there, you're wrong. You're so wrong.
Okay.
Unless it's like 4 million degrees outside, then you should just leave your air conditioning on. Like that's just leave.
Well,
it
that's
on.
what I
That's all
mean.
it is.
Like, so keep going your story. But I have a system when I lived in the desert that we use.
The system that I use that is the true system is if you're going to you have to make a decision. Am I turning the air conditioning off or not? If you're not turning the air conditioning off, fine. And the decision is based on if it's still 105 degrees at night, you should just leave the AC on. You're not going to sleep, right?
Yeah. Right.
And if you turn it off, you're going to die inside your house. You're going to wake up dead. Okay? And if you are gonna turn off the air conditioning, then the only choice is that you will open up windows on opposite sides of your house. And generally, you're going to open every window in your house.
Yes.
Right? You want as much airflow, because what else the desert has in common is that there's wind. There's always wind going on.
It is very windy.
There's just wind all the time. And so if you just open up windows at one side of your house, that wind is going to come to your house and go around it because it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's how things work, okay? It's the air is trying to keep moving, and if it stops, if it sees that it can't go anywhere, it just stops.
Unless your house is aerodynamic for some reason.
Yeah, so you got to open the door or the window on the opposite end so that the air knows to move. Otherwise, it's just going to go into your house and stop. And wind that stops is not wind anymore, and so it doesn't cool you.
Well, can you explain that again? Wind that stops
is just air.
It's just air. It's just hot air.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so it's not benefiting you.
So the system.
So yeah.
Oh, keep going. But the system that we have back home in the desert, for where I am from, is we don't have an AC because our AC broke and my dad's cheap. But we do have a swamp cooler.
Oh right.
But the problem with the swamp cooler is that if it is too if it's too wet outside, or if it's too like humid, it doesn't work, which is very upsetting. Right. But what we would do is we would have the swamp cooler in the far end of the house, and then on the opposite on the other side of the house, we would open the windows, and this would create like a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
So the swamp cooler would get all this moisture in the air, cool the air, and then shoot it across the house.
Because that cool air is looking for a way to get out into the hot air.
Yeah, because
it wants to move.
Because if you just have the swamp cooler on without any windows open, it's like blowing air into a balloon that's already full. Right. It's not going to get any bigger without popping, and the house is not going to pop.
And it starts to get really dank.
Yes, it gets really. It's literally a swamp in your house, and that's not nice.
It's the transference of the cold and the hot, like the wet to the dry, that creates the cooling effect. The condensation is what creates that cool air. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would do that, but then obviously at night my dad had this awesome, I don't know where he got this. It was pretty much like a propeller to a plane, but smaller, but he put it in our attic. So at the night we would open all of the windows up, and he would turn on this fan, and it would suck all the air from outside straight into the attic,
which is cooler air moving up. Yes.
It's quite an awesome.
That's called a whole house fan.
Yes, and it was pretty awesome. You can buy those at Home Depot, and so we would do that at night because it tends to be a little bit more moist at night, and we couldn't have the swamp cooler on all the time.
You know what I did when I lived in the desert?
What?
My plan was to just keep the air conditioner on all the time because I wasn't paying the electric bill.
Right.
That's what I did when I lived in West Virginia.
It's a smart move. Yeah, well, so I've lived with different people in the desert that weren't my family. And I've found that there is a bizarre lack of understanding this stuff among people who've lived in the desert their whole life. So I would wake up in the morning. Oh, here's another part of this thing. In the morning, when you wake up, when it's cool in the morning, because the coolest part of the day is just before the sun rises. That's when it's the coolest. So you close all the windows and you keep that cool air in, and you don't turn the air conditioning on until that cool air has started to warm up, right? Or you set the thermostat to say, once it reaches this temperature, kick on. And you'll find that if you close your windows in the morning when the cool air is in your house, that your AC doesn't kick on until much, much later, right? I've lived with so many people who would do the exact opposite. Oh, it's really hot. It's nighttime. Better close all the windows. And so I wake up drenching in sweat. And I'm like, why is it so hot in here? And I go and I look, and every single window in the house is closed except for my room. I'm just like, why? And then I'd wake up in the morning and they'd open the windows. And I'm just like, guys, it's the opposite of what you need to be doing. Or they would open one window and close all the rest. And I was like, there's nowhere for the air. Like, I just found so many people who don't understand the window situation, and it's frustrating.
Well, I think they think that their house is like a fridge.
Right.
If you open up the fridge, all the cold air will get out.
Yeah, but your house isn't a fridge. There's no cooling happening inside of there. I don't know. This is just really. I'm trying not to get angry because it was like, but it's like the worst situation when you're an insomniac and you finally get to sleep, and then you wake up only a couple hours later because you think you wet the bed, and then you think there's no way urine got into my hair.
Because just sweat.
I don't know, I toss and turn quite a bit, so.
Well, yeah, I do too, but that's still, yeah. So anyhow, that's my frustration. So if anyone who lives in hot places like the desert, it doesn't know, now you know. Please change your ways.
Also, anyone who lives in a cold place that could and give me some intelligent ideas about how to stay warm, I would also like to hear.
I think what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to build a bonfire with rocks in it, and then you take the rocks up and you put them in your bed at night.
No, that's how you start a fire.
Oh yeah, there's an idea. Pretty much the solution to staying warm in the winter is closing all of the windows always and not turning off the heater.
Also, not going outside.
Yeah.
Never ever go outside.
Oh man, it's so terrible. This weekend's gonna be awful.
We have Canadian listeners; they might be able to help you. You're in almost Canada, so
it got almost to 70 degrees today.
Oh my gosh! If I could punch you, I would.
Yeah,
but it's gonna get cold again. That's the thing that sucks. Is
cold. I know you couldn't see it, but I put quotations around the word cold when I said it.
Well, yeah, but it's cold to me.
Okay, I want to hear Adam's answer now.
My answer, I have a feeling that when I say this, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, Adam, that's dumb. Everybody knows that. But no, they don't. So you're wrong. So don't say that out loud at your podcast app. Because
pretty
people
good
on the
logic.
bus will look at you weird.
This is a thing not to yell into your Overcast.
Right. I don't want people to yell at me. There are a surprising number of people who don't know about Control-C, Control-V.
Oh man.
You know,
and they'll be like, hey, can you come help me with this thing? I'm like, yeah, sure. And they're like, oh, we got to move this over here. And I'll just be like, and they'll be like, how did you do that?
What just happened?
Are you magic? Like, no, it was just, this little thing on the computer.
Just a keyboard.
I cannot tell you how many times I work in IT and I work in education, so I'm helping teachers and students and such. I can't tell you how many times I've told someone, well, and just copy that, and you're going to take that, and we're going to paste it, and they're like, how do you do that? And that's probably I'd say that's like 60% of people who don't know it even exists.
Oh yeah.
And then there's like another 20 to 30% of people who don't know that they can use their keyboard to do it. They actually have to highlight it with their mouse, click,
Right-click
copy.
it.
Yeah, and it's just like, guys.
I don't know. I don't understand how people can do that because a lot, like 60% of all the jobs that I've had have just been copying and pasting.
What you do on
one
the
place to
computer
another.
is like copying, pasting constantly.
The computer's like any other tool. Like there's some people that know how to use their tools, and there's some people that don't.
Well, life hack: learn how to use your tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a story about this. I was in high school, and that wasn't that long ago, like cosmically. Like it was pretty recently.
It wasn't like geologic time.
Yeah. So, but
Back in the Pleistocene.
Yes. No, so I was in high school and it was nearing the end of the year and I was in my science class and we all were doing these projects and this one kid hadn't turned one in and it was like the day after and my teacher's like, dude, you can't do this. He says, here, I'll make you a deal. You just turn in something, just copy and paste the whole thing and I'll give you a 50% and that's better than a 0. And the guy's like, okay, cool. So the next day he comes with his report. And what he gives is he copied and pasted, but he literally had a piece of paper and he cut out sentences and then pasted it on another piece of paper and handed it in.
What?
And my little mind was exploding. I was like, what?
Where do you even find paste nowadays? Did he make it?
I don't know. Like he slaughtered a horse and got the paste. But no, like I remember I was seeing the paper and just in awe because he obviously printed out the articles like from the internet and then cut them out and then paste them on another piece of paper.
It's like, dude, you did this whole extra step that you did not need to do. Wow.
It was like a ransom letter for a report. It was turned in.
Man, that's
So,
special.
I will never forget that for as long as I live.
Hey, well, thanks for listening, Adam, specifically. Remember, your ratings fuel us. So please, please, please rate and share the show wherever you listen to it. You can subscribe to receive new episodes the moment they're released by going to 3g3q.co/subscribe. We also really appreciate our patrons, and we're nearing another goal, so make sure you go to patreon.com/3g3q to get in on a lot of exclusive content. Like, we've been releasing lost episodes,
secret shows.
Yeah,
we
there's
have
all kinds
secret
of
shows, just
fun
like a popular band.
Yeah, there's a lot of other fun stuff. Like, I've been showing the possible show titles before they come out. We're gonna be printing stickers here soon. If you sign up before February 2016, you're gonna get stickers. So a lot of fun stuff like that, and that can be for as little as $1 a month. That's all you mean. You can say just $1 a month, and you're still gonna get a lot of this stuff. So yeah, it's pretty legit. Go sign up. Other than that, I want you to remember to make a list. I also want you to remember to drink a lot of water before you're gonna go to battle tomorrow.
That's good. That's good. You wanna pee on your enemies.
Just whiz all over them. I also want you to remember that it's okay to ask. And I also want you to remember to question everything.
You know, we should send out artisanal 3G3Q tapes.
Artisanal.
We should make a mixtape. Hey, no, you guys are tricking me to talking before we.
Oh, shoot. You know what we should do, though?
Oh my gosh, what?
We should mail tapes of our show to people that don't have the blessing of the internet.
Like, we should do it as a passive-aggressive way to get people to listen to the show. We're like, we know you haven't been listening, and we assume it's because you don't have access to it. So here it is.
We'll put it in, like, American Online packaging that says, like, 53 free minutes of 3 guys 3 questions. It's a cassette tape.
I'm sure Merlin Mann would really appreciate that.
Yeah, I can't believe you don't know who he is. You need to listen. I'm going to make you a playlist, okay?
You should get him a voicemail of it.
I'm going to pick you like 3 things. Don't be angry.
Dude, make him a voicemail of it.
Send me a cassette. If you send me a cassette, I will listen to it.
I don't even have a cassette player. Wait, I do.
You know,
I think I have the one from my mission, Mike.
You want to know how far behind Idaho is as a state? They still have cassette players. You can buy them at Walmart.
So weird. I haven't seen a cassette player in like forever. All right, hey, no, stop. We're gonna record the show. Okay, ready?
Okay.
If you're new to the show, here's how it works. Every time.
Here's how it
I
works.
do that.
Adam and Andrew distract Aaron from reading the lead-in copy, and then eventually we ask each other questions.
All right. If you're new to the show,